The marriage and dating market is getting stranger and stranger these days. A few days ago, there was a large matchmaking event held in Shenzhen. I didn't go, but the scenes from it were shocking. There were over 10,000 women at the event. The venue was absolutely packed. And fewer than 500 men. That means around 20 women were competing for a single man. It was almost unbearable to watch. What's even crazier? At some of the so-called high-end matchmaking events in Shenzhen, the male-to-female ratio has reportedly reached 1 to 50. Yes, you heard that right, 50 women chasing after one man. Modern dating platforms have completely lost their way. Women are charged high membership fees, sometimes thousands or even tens of thousands of yuan for so-called VIP services. Meanwhile, men are begged to join free memberships, free gifts, anything to get them in the door. So, where have all the men gone? Why have they disappeared collectively? In simple terms, it's not worth it. Let me show you a real example. Recently, a girl in Shanghai posted her dating requirements online. She said that her future partner must own a fully paid apartment in Jing'an district. Do you know what that means? Jing'an is the heart of Shanghai. Property prices start around 100,000 RMB per square meter. Even the cheaper ones are 80,000 RMB at least. A modest two-bedroom apartment easily costs over 10 million RMB. Now, suppose a man really has 10 million yuan. He faces two choices: get married or stay single. If he stays single, he can put that money in the bank and earn 5% annual interest. That's 500,000 RMB a year. Together with his salary, he can comfortably spend 30,000 to 40,000 RMB a month. He can travel wherever he wants, buy whatever he likes, and nobody will nag or control him. But if he chooses marriage, he has to add someone's name to the property certificate. Meaning half of it could be gone one day. Then come household expenses, family conflicts, and endless responsibilities. So tell me, what would you choose? That's the dilemma for the wealthy. Now let's look at ordinary men. In a first-tier city, like Shenzhen, let's break down the cost of marriage. Down payment for a home at least 1 million RMB. Mortgage to 30 years of payments. Bride price 200,000 to 300,000 RMB. Conservative estimate. Wedding, 150,000 ringgit Shenzhen prices. You know how it is. Car 200,000 RMB. Can't be too shabby. Jewelry 50,000 too. 100,000 ringgit at everything. Up unless you've got 2 million RMB, you can't even think about marriage. But how much does an average white-collar worker in Shenzhen make? Just over 10,000 RMB a month, and even if he doesn't eat or drink, it would take him 16 years just to afford the entry ticket to marriage. Some people say, once you're married, life gets easier. That's naive. According to official data, it costs 538,000 RMB, on average, to raise a child to age 17, and that's the national average. In Shenzhen, you can easily double that, so imagine a family earning 20,000 to 30,000 RMB a month. After paying the mortgage and tutoring fees, they're basically broke every month. What hurts men even more is this consumerist culture that treats men like ATMs. On Valentine's Day, 520 kixi, if you don't give gifts, it means you don't love her. Then there's Women's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, the first milk tea of autumn, the first hot pot of winter. Every little thing has become a commercialized trap disguised as love. A girl might receive a 500 yuan lipstick and think it's nothing special, but a guy who gets a single bouquet of flowers could be thrilled. But whoever asks how men feel? And the scariest part, regions with high bride prices actually have higher divorce rates than major cities. Many men drain their savings to get married, and a few years later, they're divorced, losing both money and marriage. So now, men are becoming more clear-headed. Rather than becoming someone's financial safety net, they'd rather live freely. Rather than going into debt for marriage, they'd rather save for retirement. Rather than worshipping a princess, they'd rather adopt a cat. It's not that men lack responsibility. It's that reality has forced them to make rational choices. When marriage becomes a game where one wins and the other loses. When love has a price tag. When getting married means going bankrupt, then staying single becomes a form of self-protection. And if we want to change this situation, there's only one way. Let marriage return to its true meaning. Let love no longer be a luxury. Break free from consumerism, brainwashing. Lower the threshold for marriage. Lighten the burden for young people. Otherwise, honestly, there will only be more women, fewer men, and many lonely, empty rooms. It's not that men don't want to marry, it's that they can't afford to. Don't you agree? The phenomenon of a kingdom of women in China's marriage market is spreading across the country. In the past, 100 bachelors had to compete for one wife. Now, when you look around at matchmaking events, it's full of women. The ratio of men to women has flipped to as high as 1 to 50. Overnight, men have become the hot commodity. Some matchmaking events even offer free admission for men while women have to pay. Hundreds of women dress up and eagerly wait to be chosen, while only a few men show up, and those few often leave early. Why is this strange phenomenon happening? Is it because there are more single women than men? No, quite the opposite. Statistics show that China has 30 million more men than women. So why does the marriage market seem upside down? Let's take a closer look. A popular misconception today is that men are avoiding responsibility, that men who refuse to marry are simply shirking their duties. But this argument ignores a harsh reality. Men today aren't unwilling to marry, they're afraid to. Getting married now often means the man must own a home, have a car, and pay a high bride price. Ask yourself, a young man just entering society, barely able to support himself, yet expected to shoulder such massive financial pressure, who wouldn't hesitate? It's not that men refuse to pay for marriage, it's that they've awakened when effort and reward are no longer proportional. Choosing to lie flat to give up on the system becomes a rational decision. As a result, more and more people no longer see marriage as a necessary step in life. According to the Ministry of Civil Affairs, in 2024 there were 6.106 million registered marriages nationwide, down 1.574 million from the previous year, the lowest in nearly 40 years. Why has it come to this? The roots lie in how capital has flattered women and devalued men in the past. You'd often see this dynamic in the dating market. A 25-year-old woman, 1.65 meters tall, with a junior college degree and a 3,000 yuan monthly salary, as long as she looked decent, she'd be treated like a goddess. Meanwhile, a 31-year-old man, 1.75 meters tall, with a graduate degree and earning over 10,000 yuan a month, if he didn't own a car or house, would be labeled a failure, not even qualified for a blind date. Visit any matchmaking corner in the country, and you'll notice one thing: women's standards are universally higher than men's. They demand men have a house and car, earn no less than 600,000 yuan a year, carry no family burdens, and still offer a hefty bride price, often in the tens of thousands. What used to be a two-way pursuit of love has now become a commercial negotiation. After years of media influence, many women have come to believe that if a man doesn't have a house, car, or savings, he doesn't deserve to marry. Some even try to turn dowries and betrothal gifts into personal premarital assets. Before the marriage even begins, both sides are already calculating. Trust disappears before the vows are made. Can such a marriage really last? That's a big question mark. Even if a man meets all of a woman's requirements and they finally get together, the struggle is just beginning. Then come Valentine's Day, Women's Day, 520 Day, the first cup of milk tea in autumn. Endless holidays repackaged by consumer culture. If the man fails to express his love through enough spending, he's quickly labeled as stingy or low value. Meanwhile, capital has portrayed women as the weaker side of marriage. They argue that since women bear children for men, they should rightfully receive more benefits. Under this ideology, women's view of marriage has changed drastically. They no longer see being virtuous or family-oriented as virtues. Instead, many believe they should simply look beautiful and enjoy life at home, while men are expected to work and provide. Some even demand that men hand over their entire salary for security. If he refuses, she says, "You don't love me enough." But aren't men also a vulnerable group in marriage? When marriages end, men often face property division, custody battles, and the risk of losing both wealth and family. Yet capital ignores this, focusing only on women's rights in marriage, never mentioning responsibilities. This imbalance has left many men feeling hopeless about marriage, choosing instead to walk away. Even when a couple makes it through all obstacles, the cost of buying a home, car, and paying a huge bride price often drains 3 generations of savings. And that's just the beginning. Next comes the crushing cost of raising a child. It's estimated that raising one child to age 18 in a first-tier city costs about 1 million yuan. Although the government now offers childcare subsidies, they're merely a drop in the bucket. Even worse, under the influence of media and consumer culture, many women have lost touch with reality, setting standards so high they're almost absurd. They want a man who's handsome, rich, successful, and romantic, so high that it's hard to tell whether they're looking for a husband or making a wish list. If this distorted view of marriage isn't corrected soon, men will continue to flee the dating market, and society will see more and more aging single women left behind.